of opinions that people had at that point in time. Thanks.
Thank you. I think one more question over here on this side.
Hi, thank you all for being here. I truly appreciate that. Sorry. Okay. My name is Olfa. I'm from Tunisia. It's in North Africa, for those who can't recognize the country. And I'd like first to personally say to Senator Brown that you're an inspirational figure for me, being a woman from a developing country. And I'm new in town. I just seen that on the website of the National Archives building, and I said, I have to go. So thank you for being here, and thank you all others. So my question is about women's rights. This is a big issue for developing countries and for Arab countries and for countries, Muslim countries. Tunisia is a country that, I don't know if you all know, but we have been lucky as women there to have had something called the 1956 Personal Status Code, which is a code that actually initiated or made it lawful actually for women to vote, has forbidden polygamy. It made a lot of changes in the family law. So a woman in Tunisia could, since 1596, actually, you know, have her fullest rights, you know, as with the family. She can ask for divorce, you know, all those kind of real laws that made Tunisia a country that is an exception in the Arab world. Tunisia now is the only country where polygamy is actually not something written on paper, it's a reality. So I'm standing here tonight because of that, because I have had access to education, equal opportunity to every man in Tunisia. I have had access to education where it's actually secular, free in education. So that's why I'm here. I have had access to go outside, live and work in France, come to the United States, which is, you talked about the United States bringing democracy to other countries. I believe this is the greatest nation in this world from this legal side. This is a country of law, and it's very powerful. But what is going on is that in Tunisia now, with the uprising that happened, and I don't want here to put at the same level a fight against a political dictatorship with civil rights. It's part of it. It's not all of it. With the rising of certain political views, including the Islamist political parties in Tunisia, it has been a big fight for the last 3 years. Let's say now we have freedom of speech, so we can talk about it. But what makes me sad is that the women issue is now being put on the expense of what we call democracy and inclusion of people moving from one extremist to less extremist side. That makes me, you know, like, I can give a concrete example. When they asked to add in the Constitutional Assembly the word Sharia in the Constitution, and they asked to put women and men are not equal, but actually complementary, which you can, this mentioned in a constitution, you can, you know, you yourself, you're a specialist in law, you can see what are the consequences of that. Anything, like women cannot travel now. I can't come to the United States now, you see what I mean? So women, we had to go out in the streets and manifest in thousands for weeks, so that it became a little bit of a national scandal, and then they retrieved that. I know it's a movement and it's a battle, but you have gone through maybe this or worse, I don't know. And is there any advice and opinion you can give to us, and me personally as a woman there, on how to fight in a world, especially a very legally unstable context like Tunisia now?
Thank you.
I think that, and just to quickly respond, I think the core issue in all of these conversations is the liberation of the human spirit, so that you can be the best that you can be, no matter what skin you're in, whether you're black or white or female or male, gay or straight, disabled or otherwise. You know, people, human beings, all have the spark of the divine that ought to be able to express itself. And that is what this battle is about. And that's what it's always been about. And that's what it will always be about. And you will simply have to do what you have to do at home to take on the issues, to advocate for women's rights, women's liberation, that we are citizens, we are human beings, we are citizens, we are people, and we are entitled to equality of rights. That's what the civil rights fight was about here in the United States and continues to be about. That's what the fight, that's what the legislation that passed today in the Senate, that's what that's all about. We are human beings, we are people, and we are entitled to equality of treatment under the law. That has got to be kind of the cornerstone or the central core principle of what it is that you're agitating for. And you're right, it's in the UN, the UN Millennium Goals is about women, and there's all this conversation about women. Women, the whole issue of gender, frankly, is as difficult a one for the world as the issue of race specifically to the United States has been. When I used to say, and I got in trouble for saying it, that racism is local and sexism is universal. It's an issue for the world. And how it gets addressed, again, it's going to be left to this young lady in the yellow shirt.
Well, it seems like an appropriate, we've promised to kind of wrap this up around now, and that seems like an appropriate note to end on. It's worth remembering that in the '64 Civil Rights Act, the provisions against gender discrimination were inserted by Chairman Smith of the Rules Committee in the House, a Southerner, because he thought it could be a poison pill that would make people oppose the bill, because who could possibly imagine giving equal rights to women?
Right.
I didn't want to end without one thing, and that is on June 11th, 1963, when President Kennedy proposed the bill, he used some statistics that his civil rights advisor, Harris Wofford, had first worked up for him in his first debate against Vice President Nixon in 1960. And he said that a Negro baby born in America today has just half as much chance of completing high school as a white baby born in the same place on the same day, 1/3 as much chance of completing college, 1/3 as much chance of embarking on a professional career, twice as much chance of becoming unemployed, 1/7 as much chance of earning $10,000 a year, a life expectancy 7 years shorter, and the prospect of earning only half as much. As of 2010, according to the Department of Education, black high school freshmen graduated about 80% the rate of their white counterparts, while about 50% of black students at four-year colleges complete bachelor's degrees within 6 years, compared to just over 60% of whites. Black expectancy is now roughly 4 years shorter than that of whites. So equality of opportunity has improved markedly, but equality lags. Black unemployment rates are still roughly twice those for whites, while the average per capita income for blacks is roughly half. And I was moved to find that one of the statements from the hero that I mentioned early in the program, Congressman Bill McCulloch of Ohio. In 1967, he wrote an essay for a Republican policy magazine, and he said this in 1967, "The old battles have been won. The Republican Party, however, is not content with the past, for all the dreams have not come true. There's work to be done, and history shows that the Republican Party will be the party which, in large part, will see that these dreams come true." It seems that that shouldn't be a partisan dream of any kind. It should be a dream for all of us, but it does mean that there's work for everyone to do. So thank you all very much, and on behalf of the Archives and the Association of Former Members for coming tonight, and thank you.